Congratulations, you've reached the end of your show. Now that all the exhibitors are starting to break down and all of the show attendees are gone, you can go ahead and start breaking this down. First thing that you want to do, because this is going to take the longest, is you want to be sure that you unplug your halogens. These things are going to take about 10 minutes to go ahead and cool down, so you want to give them as much time as possible and continue on with the rest of the booth. I would not, if I were you, touch them, and I've done this myself, burn my hands significantly on there. So once those lights are off, basically you want to go through and break everything down in the exact opposite order you put it up, of putting it up. So now, the last thing that you did to set this up was get the booth graphics on. You want to go ahead and take those down. The sheet, which everything was wrapped up in, lay that flat on the floor in front of your booth table, or if that table is out of the way, pull the first booth off. Be careful that when you're taking this off, you don't actually pull the carpet off of the booth. Go ahead and lay this flat down on the sheet. Put the first one down face up, and you come over here to the second one, pull this off. Lay the second one down, face down. What you're doing is you're putting these down face to face so that the Velcro is not going to sit there and scratch on the surface of each of them. Be sure that the booth graphics are kind of centered within the sheet. Kind of flip it over on one side. Be sure they're even with each other. And start rolling this up. Now, this is a fairly thick laminate. Go ahead and kind of squeeze it down so that you can get it nice and tight. And start rolling that up. Be sure that your Velcro strips are close at hand. Be sure these ends stay even, because otherwise what will happen is if these don't stay straight in here, you will end up having a corner sticking off to the side, and you will ruin the booth graphic. Kind of be sure that everything is covered. Roll up to one end, and just attach the Velcro on one end. Come to the other, and attach your Velcro on the other end. Do not throw out your box when you're initially setting up the booth graphic. You'll need this to go ahead and ship this back to the Rosemont office. Get that right back in the box. Package it up, tape it up, reapply the UPS label, which will be provided to you. Just go ahead, take off your end cap. So be careful when you take these off. You'll want to go ahead and just release the magnets and just pull those directly off the hooks. Lay these down flat. You can either do this on the floor, if you're careful and you won't have anyone step on those, or you can also do this across your 6 or 8 foot show table. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull both of these off, and then put these away. You're going to put them, again, face to face. Keeping your edges even. And then roll these up. Once you have these rolled, these will go directly into the booth case. You'll have your small tube as this. Take out the center insert, and with these it's not really going to matter which case that you put them in. Put them down in the center of the case, kind of let it unwind and take up as much space as it needs to in the bottom of the case. Once you have those packed away, then you can start breaking down the carpeted center panels. Doesn't matter what side that you start on. Go ahead, release them from the magnets, unhook them, lay your first one down, carpet side up. When you grab the second one, again, release that off the hooks. Lay this one down. You're going to want to leave a little bit of an overhang on that, because that'll help actually when you're going to roll that up. Start at one end. Once you've got those nice and even, again, start rolling that up. Again, you're going to want to start this kind of tight, just so that you'll be able to get that in to the booth case. And you'll see once, the reason that you're overhanging that is so that when you get done, those end up pretty close to being the same. So again, we'll get this down in the case, let that unwind, and you're all set. Now what you're going to want to do is put two of the metal booth panels in one case and two in the other. So go ahead, get the first one in, take the other ones down, get it in the other case, and you're good to go taking the panels down. Okay, now that you've gotten all the panels down off the booth, the next thing that you want to do is pull the lights off. What you want to be sure is that, try touching them again with the halogens. They're going to get super hot on you, so you want to be sure that these are completely cool by the time that you break these down. As long as they're cool, what you can do is go ahead, rotate this back to the left. Here is the tab underneath the bracket. Pull the tab down and wiggle the light until it breaks free. It should come right out of the slot. Go ahead, disconnect the power cord, and that can just go to the back of the booth. Again, if your light is cool, you should be fine to go ahead and put this back in the light case. If it's not cool, what's going to end up happening is you'll put it in here, you'll start melting the foam directly onto the light, and that'll cause a lot of problems. It'll actually cause the lights to burn out, will ruin the case for the lights, and we'll have to come after you. So there's the first one, and here's the second one. Again, we're pulling the tab down, rotating the light, just kind of wiggling it out, and eventually it'll break free. Disconnect your power cord, and drop that to the back of the booth, put your light away. Don't forget, your power cord is now sitting behind the booth. You'll have to grab this, just kind of wind it up. This will now go back into your booth case. You can either walk behind your booth, walk in front of your booth, doesn't matter. Be sure the power cord gets back in with the lights. Once those are in, you can go ahead, close up your box, and get this reinserted into your booth cases. Now you'll notice I've already put the center portions back in the cases. There are two different ones. You've got one that is just a square center panel, and one that seems to have some slots in the side of it, and a tray on top. The lights go in the one with no top. It slides directly in. At this point, this case is completely done. You can go ahead, close this up, get this prepared to ship. Okay, you now have all of your panels off, so what we're going to do is remove the spines off of the backbone of the booth. So we started out before at the top and worked our way all the way down. So to take them off, we've got to start at the bottom and work ourselves all the way up. So you'll start with this joint, pull these two slightly apart. This will pop right off, and then you'll have the bottom. The bottom piece will now be free, and you can start working your way back up. You're going to pull these apart slightly. It'll pop off, come right off the peg, and then the last one will come apart very easily. Now, to put these away is you've got to be kind of careful. You'll notice that you've got the angle coming to one side. Be sure when you fold this up to put it away that that angle will sit over the rest of the spine so that when you go to put it back in the case, you won't have that bracket flying out to the side. Again, we've got our case right in here, and you're just going to reinsert those directly back into one of the 8 slots. We've only got 7 spines here, so you will have one spot in there that will not be used, which is completely normal. Again, pop these off. Bracket goes one way. Fold up the spines for that way. First one will kind of lock itself in place with the magnets. Second one is right there, the bracket going on top. Directly back in the booth case. Do this for all 7, and then we'll be ready to break down the backbone. Okay, the final step in breaking down the booth is collapsing the backbone. What you're going to do, usually I like starting out on top. Go ahead, pull the plungers out and separate each one of these from its respective spot on the backbone. Again, you'll need to stand on the chair, and it's as simple as pulling the plunger straight back and just popping it directly off. Plunger straight back, pop it right off that peg. You're going to go ahead, do all the ones on the top, then you'll work the ones on the bottom, and you're going to leave one right in the middle. It doesn't really matter which one, you just want to have a little bit of stability so that once you pop that last one, the entire backbone is going to collapse down on itself. So you just want to be expecting. So once you get those done, you can come in, pop each of these off. Still got a couple more here on top. Okay. The one I generally like to leave is the one right in the middle, kind of towards the bottom. Just makes it a little bit easier. So you've already gone through. Again, this is the one that I've left in place. Just pop everything else right off. Now, everything is free except this. So once I go ahead and pull this plunger, everything is going to start collapsing, support its weight, and just let it bring itself all the way down into its folded nest. Then what you're going to do is you'll re-grab a plastic bag that you put back into the case. Sometimes it helps if you have a second person to do this. One to hold the bag open, one to go ahead and put this in. Put this in. Do not just put it in the bag and let it drop all the way through. You will punch a hole directly through the bottom of the bag and make it unusable. You can go ahead, just leave it on the ground, and then kind of pull it up. This is your package. Bring it right back over to the last case that you've got. And just slide that directly back into that center portion. Replace the tray. Close up your case. Prepare that for shipping. Congratulations, your booth is now completely disassembled and you're ready to ship. Jump on your plane and go home.